Last time I saw this mountain, I was exactly 100 miles from this spot. That was the last footage I shot on the PCT. You know, we're told over and over by many previous thru hikers that long distance hiking is way more mentally taxing than physically taxing. And I can personally attest to that. In most situations, people tend to be more mentally broken by, I guess, the weather or the conditions, the trail itself is too rough, or all the above. Just tend to beat people down mentally, whether they can physically take it or not, and they end up off the trail. In my particular situation, these things didn't bother me. I had rain, countless rain, sleet, snow, 30 to 40 mile an hour wind days that lasted 15 to 20 mile stretches. I climbed more hills, mountains, whatever you want to call them, than I've ever climbed in my life. And none of this beat me down at all. The climbs were a bit tough on my cardio at times, but when I got to the top of each crest, all I did was look down and realize what I had just accomplished. It was nothing that wasn't fleeting. Any thought that I had about the trail being difficult or the conditions being difficult just went away as soon as those conditions were passed. But in my particular case, I was not mentally strong enough or prepared enough for the separation between myself, my wife, and my son. I've mentioned many times in videos previously that being away from them was going to be the hardest part of the trail for me. And even I didn't understand exactly what that meant. I mean, I could say it, I knew that it was going to be tough to be away from them. I did not know that it was going to be enough to make me not enjoy my trip. And by that I mean, at night, every night, I knew it was going to be tough because that's the time I'm usually spending with my family. And instead I'm in a tent trying to huddle up and keep warm, which was fine. And it was good for a while, and when I woke up in the morning, I was always good and ready to go. Somewhere around day 8, it started not just being at night. I would get about 2 miles away from camp, and I'd just start staring at my feet, counting the steps until I got to camp to see if I had service so I could talk to my wife and son. And on the nights where I didn't have service, it was a big bummer. It completely brought me down, not being able to talk to my family. Being out there is one thing, but not being able to speak to them at all for days on end started to really, really take a toll on me. By day 9 or 10, halfway through my day, I'd just start thinking about why am I out here instead of at home with my family. And by day 10 or 11, all I could think about was the fact that I was not at home with my family. I was not paying any attention to the trail. I was simply counting the miles to the next point where I may be able to speak to them. So being out there and not enjoying it because I am separated from my family was starting to feel a bit asinine. I was having some serious internal turmoil trying to decide what to do. Should I push on, see if it goes away? Should I quit now, just bail? I didn't know what to do. So I talked to my wife about it for a couple days. By the time I got into Idlewild, I had met up with Famous and John, and they had just come off of the mountain off of San Jacinto because a buddy of theirs that they were with had slid and fallen about 300 feet. He got really lucky and was able to stop himself on some rocks and climb back up. He wasn't hurt at all. He was a bit shooken up like any of us would be. So they turned around and came back to Idlewild. So that happened to bring us all back together. And by doing that, I was able to sit around and have a great weekend. I think I spent a day and a half with these guys, bopping around town, doing laundry, doing errands, going grocery shopping for a ridiculous amount of food so we could feed 11 hikers that have been eating nothing but tortillas and mashed potatoes for a couple weeks. And while sitting around with these guys, I made the decision to come back to Texas, which was definitely not an easy decision to make, especially not after how long I've been planning this, how long I've been looking forward to it. But the way I looked at it was, if it were the trail giving me trouble, I can get past that. But that wasn't my problem. My problem was the separation of me and my family. And the only thing that could fix that problem is being back with my family. And so I decided that I would rather go out on a good note after having spent the weekend with my friends, instead of getting up on the top of San Jacinto or onto Fuller Ridge and be incredibly irritated with my situation, come down cussing the mountain, and fly home on a bad note. So I figured if I knew I wasn't going to make it to the northern terminus, because there's no way I could make 5 or 6 months without my family, this was a conclusion I'd come to for sure. I did not see the point in continuing to push on in rough conditions just to make myself angry before I went home. So I decided to leave on a good note. And I feel good about having done it the way that I did it. I don't feel good about having left the trail, but being at home with my family definitely makes it okay. Not gonna lie, it was really difficult to break the news to my new trail family. The short amount of time that we were with each other, it felt like a lot longer. We all come from different backgrounds all over the country: Alaska, Pennsylvania, California, Texas. None of us would have ever come together. We would have never met if it weren't for this trail. And even with all of our differences, we were so brought together by this one common goal that we had an amazing time together when we were hiking, and it was a lot of fun. We all had this one giant thing in common that held us together. So I sat around for about an hour after having made the decision and was almost entirely unable to tell them. The only reason I was able to get myself to tell them that I was leaving was, one, I wasn't just going to bail without saying anything, and two, everybody was in the room and it was just perfect timing. People were about to start scattering and doing their own thing, so I just let it out. And I don't think any of them wanted to believe me at first. I'm pretty sure a couple of them thought I was joking. John even told me he didn't believe me. They were just waiting for some sort of punchline to the worst joke ever. And it was really tough. It was a really tough thing to do. But I still believe that it was the right thing to do. And I think that I know now that through hiking is probably not something that I'm going to be able to do while having a young family. As much as I thought now was a great time, it turned out to be that just because I had the time and the finances to do it doesn't mean that it was a good time for me to do it. So I'm back in Texas. Another thing that was on my mind a lot that last day, after I think I had pretty well made my decision, was trying to figure out what to say to you guys. So many people, actually everybody, I have had nothing but absolutely amazing encouragement. Every comment is, "You got this, we can't wait to watch you go all the way, you're a natural at this." It was really, really difficult to read all these comments knowing that I was probably going to go home. But I didn't know what to do with my channel. I thought that maybe this would be the last video that I posted here on YouTube. But when I told my new trail family that that was probably going to be what I did, they all pretty well simultaneously said, "No, don't do that." They said, "You've got a great thing going here. People really enjoy watching you. And just because you didn't succeed in this thru hike doesn't mean you can't have shorter backpacking trips and that people wouldn't watch." So, which was kind of a relief, because I really do enjoy this community. I really do enjoy making these videos, and I really enjoy the interaction that I get from you guys. It's been absolutely amazing. It is amazing how encouraging you people are. And so I was kind of glad to hear that. And between them and some fellow YouTubers who also encouraged me, do not give up on your channel, I do believe that I will continue trying to go with the YouTube channel. I think from now on it will be shorter trips, weekend trips, week-long trips, couple week-long trips. I can do those knowing that I'm coming home to my family. It was the 5 to 6 months not having any idea when I was going to see them next that was going to be too rough. And for the shorter trips, I can take my son with me, or my wife can come with us too, and we can make a family affair out of it, and I can continue on with these either vlogging videos plus some more cinematic style videos for the shorter trips that I don't have to be editing on my phone, so it'll make it easier to make some good quality content. So I think I am going to do that. As far as what I'm going to be doing now that I'm home and don't have this ridiculously amazing journey to be looking forward to anymore, I think I'm going to have to pick my business up very quickly to keep myself busy. Originally I was making furniture and wall decor and all sorts of things. I think I'm going to limit myself, start making just clocks and lamps and maybe some radios. And the reason I bring this up is because I really do enjoy making these videos, and I won't be consistently backpacking. I think I'm going to start up my other YouTube channel again. I did attempt to start a YouTube channel roughly a year and a half ago for my woodworking, but I was terribly unconfident, so I didn't say a word. It was just me moving some wood around in my shop. Now that I've gained much more confidence here through all of you guys here on this channel, I do believe that I will be able to bring better content to that channel. So if you're curious about what I'm doing while I'm not backpacking and you want to follow along, my other YouTube channel is Ahonui Artisans, and I will be just making videos about me making things. And I also may start a woodworking vlog because it's actually been kind of fun and I never would have seen that coming. So head over and check that out if that's something you think you might be interested in. Once again, to all of you who have stuck with me through all of my gear videos and my very few PCT videos and have been nothing but encouraging, I greatly appreciate it. I don't have any other way to describe how much I appreciate all of your support and all of your amazing comments. It's definitely been very difficult to read a lot of the comments and respond to some of them, knowing that I was going to be making this video. I may not have completed my thru hike of the Pacific Crest Trail, but I made some absolutely amazing memories, both on and off trail, with my amazing new trail family. So I'm going to try my absolute best not to think of this as the year that I failed to thru hike the PCT, rather the year that I hiked 152 miles across Southern California, climbing over 2 mountain ranges, climbing countless feet in elevation. And I'm going to try to make this not the end of something that could have been amazing, but the beginning of many things that will themselves be amazing. Until next time.